which I always, share with people, that the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. But for the dreams to come into fruition, we need relationship as well. Without relationship, we won't go anywhere. For me to be, I'm a clear testament of what I'm talking about. Because when I started business, how I was brought up by a single mother. I lost my dad. I grew up in a privileged family. Then I lost up my dad when we were still very young, me and my siblings. And my dad left 3 wives, So you can imagine, and 11 kids. So, and we were still very young, most of us, and from the privileged family up to nothing. So it was so difficult for us. But because of those challenges, they shaped me to be where I am today. And me and my siblings, we are all master degrees, holders. And they also have good jobs. They are in business. And I'm also in business. And at one point of time, I was also one of the young managers that in my mid-20s, I was already one mid to senior manager at Tier 1 Zimbabwe, which is something which is so profound. But that didn't just happen. It happened because of relationships. So I'm so happy that my brother Robert is here. We are good friends from way back. And I think he can also testify. I got my first business contract for 120,000 at a certain bank here in Zimbabwe, where I made, a cool $80,000 profit. It was after I was referred by our friend, our mutual friend. She just said, Rinos, you offer this service. Why can't we go and pitch? I'll introduce you to the CEO. Then we just went. We didn't go through the tender. He just said, you know what, young man, I'm going to give you this job. I was in my early 20s. So this happened because of relationships. So tonight I'm going to share about how to add on what they talked about, how to maintain those relationships. Yes, they spoke about how to create a relationship, but how can you maintain and sustain those relationships? Because knowing pets now, then what? Because that's what we do, Zimbabweans. We just say, okay, I know Chamu, we are good friends. Then what? Because you need also to add value to him and also to add value to whatever that you'll be doing. So personally, I'll be also sharing personal experience that have also shaped me, and maybe one person or two will also benefit from that. Personally, I had a mentor. Ebedinkala is not popular, but he's a fairly successful person. He sits in over 10 boards. But for me, he was so strategic. And so that experience with him, I'll also share, and how we've also sustained to be where we are today. I met Miss Nkala when I was very, very young, straight when I was coming from college. And I said, you know what, Miss Nkala, I want you to be my mentor. He didn't know me. And he said, you know what, young man, I'm so busy. I'm a busy person, but I can't be your mentor. But I want you to tell me what's your vision. Then every year for the past 10 years, since I was around 19 years, I write down what I want to achieve the following year. So in every December, I write down my spiritual goals, social goals, financial goals, and career goals. I've been doing that, for the past 10 years, So I said, you know what, Ms. Nkala, these are my goals. My financial, my spiritual. So financial, I say, okay, by the year end, I want to be at this level financially. So if this year I'm worth $1,000, next year I have to be $2,000. So how am I going to do that? I'm going to do that because I've established company A, B, C, D, and these companies will help me to reach these goals. And spiritual goals, because we believe in life, everything is spiritual. Everything is spiritual, whether you're a Christian or not, but everything is spiritual. That's what I believe in. So I said, I know, for my spiritual goals, I am going to partner with these churches. Some, they don't believe in that. But for me, I've been doing it for the past years. I look for churches even where I don't go. Even if I don't believe, I'm just helping those who are starting. I buy chairs. I don't even need them to know my name. I've been doing that for the past years, And I also need to know who is better in terms of this area, then we can do it together. Then social goals. Who is the person I want to meet this year? Which awards do I want to win? And because of that, it has helped me to be where I am. Because I've won several awards locally and international. I have international reputable awards and local awards as well, from IODZ, Young Manager of the Year, Zimbabwe Institute of Management, Mega Face Leadership Awards, even up to, Oxford Government of India, a couple of awards. But I don't just win. I just say, okay, this year I need to win these awards. Then things will just fall into place. But also there are relationships which will come into play. Those relationships will help me say, okay, Rinos, you said you want to do this, I'm going to nominate you. But because of that now, things will just fall into place. So I shared with Ms. Nkala, said, this is what I want to achieve. Then said, wow, this is amazing. At your age, early 20s, how did you think about that? You know what, young man, I'm now going to be your mentor. And every year, I know, from that time, I remembered every year for his birthday, I always sent Miss Nkala, a gift. And I always remember, I know all his sizes, shirts, suits, and shoes, because he's my mentor. I know, and because of that, I also add on, say, okay, if I meet a permanent secretary, for example, in government, not because I need something, if I feel that this person is upright and this person maybe in the near future or is doing something which is right in the near future, I might need him as well. I always remember birthdays. If you have to go to my guys at the office, they have in a diary birthdays of all key people whom I think one day I will need them, number one, and one day, and also they are doing something which is valuable. There are other people whom I may need, but if I don't believe in what they are doing, sometimes I'll just, you get the point. So for my social goals also, I'll write people whom I want to put off from my list, whom I believe they are bad influence on me. But the birthdays, they've helped me so much. There are these big people who just call Rinos. Even if they are, sometimes they have to be patient as well for relationship, if you want to maintain relationships. Because you send someone a birthday gift and they'll never say thank you. You meet them, they'll never mention. You get the point? No, but there's nothing wrong with that. Those people are so busy, right? Because remember, this will be someone who is way above you. So I always target those people, even in government, even outside Zimbabwe. So because of that, now my network have grown. I can meet, a couple of presidents in Southern Africa, even outside Africa. I've met heads of states. I think I've given testimonies of that, and Robert knows. I've been invited to meet the King of Morocco, and he hosted us, in his palace. I've met the president of South Sudan. They've offered, not that I knew him before. Someone would just say, Rinos, young man, there's this opportunity here. Do you want to come and also meet him? I say, why not? And because of that, my network is growing every year. Because I always remember the people who influence in my life. I don't take it for granted. If I meet Chamu now, if I feel that, Chamu is doing A, B, C, D, sometimes you have to acknowledge what you don't have. Because I know Chamu is strong in A, B, C, D. Why not? I can ask for his number. Even if he doesn't take mine, it's okay. You get the point? Because our levels are different. But sometimes relationships are not being built because we have ego. Yeah, we have ego. That ego say, but it won't benefit you. There's no harm. Say, you are doing A, B, C, D. Can I have your business card? Then you take your number. You just, maintain the relationship. Time and again, I will keep on sending WhatsApp. You know what? How are you? Hope you are good. Just one message. They are busy. Sometimes they don't respond. It's okay. Don't. I will keep on sending. Once a month, twice a month. It will come a time when you say, okay, Rinos, where are you? Can we go out for lunch? You get the point? But usually I don't wait for that. Sometimes I say, you know what, I want to invite you for lunch. If he's busy, it's okay. I'll keep on trying until one day you say, okay, it's okay. Where are you? Can we meet for lunch? And when we meet for lunch, I don't ask for money. I don't also share my vision. Say, I want to do this big. But this person is already big. You get the point? So sometimes you'll be boring him by telling him your story. But if I feel that there's something which he can benefit from, I'll say, you know what, my brother, there's this opportunity which I feel maybe it's in line with what you are doing. If you feel this is something which can add value to you, just let me know. Then you just go. Because you become relevant now. You say, okay, this young man, maybe. So by doing so, you maintain relationships. So my network have been growing because of that. So there's this quote, another quote, which I also extracted now. It says, relationship never die a natural death. They are murdered by ego, attitude, and ignorance. I'm going to talk about those three things. Ego, I've spoken about that. Then attitude. Other people, they are good at collecting business cards, right? Then you just go and pile them in your office. It doesn't help. You get the point? It's better not to collect that business card. Because whenever I take a business card for someone, I always take a business card if I feel that maybe there are some sort of areas of mutual whatever, benefits. And I'll make it a policy that I'll drop you an email first. On top of that, I'll send a message. He was talking about, I say, I know you sleep less than 5 hours. Yes, I've been doing that for the past 5 years. I know by the time I'll be 40, of course I'll be sleeping more hours maybe. I hope so. Maybe things will be okay. But because I'm still very young, I need to make the most out of it. Whilst I'm still young. So I'll make sure that in the evening, if I take cards, before you are home, you'll see I will drop you an email. I'll thank you for meeting me. I mean, I'll even ask for lunch out. If you are away, I mean, if you are maybe out of Zimbabwe, I'll say if I'm in your country, maybe can we meet? Maybe I'll be staying at this hotel. Can we meet and see how we can also benefit? And I will do that with a meaning heart. You get the point? Because usually we just collect just for the fun of it and to take selfies, to post on Facebook for people to see you. It doesn't help. I'll never post someone of influence on Facebook. Usually, I don't usually do that. I've met other people whom I think they're of influence, but those people will never take you serious. If you are someone with that heart, you just want to show off and, you get the point. So, also relationship are also destroyed. I spoke about attitude, then ignorance. Sometimes we don't know, and we don't want to acknowledge that we don't know. That's the problem. So it is networks such as this, they help us to grow and to know and understand as well. Right now we are sharing, maybe you gain one or two from what they have shared on, and maybe you won't gain a benefit, from anything. So you have to keep on attending such forums. They will help you. He was talking about shift. You have to also attend. You never know, you get the point. So you need to keep learning. The moment you keep learning, it will help you because you derive something that will benefit you maybe at a later point. Then I'm going to talk also about integrity. This is one aspect which I think is very key for relationships, for maintaining relationships. Because the challenge with young people, especially our age profiling, we're all young, you get the point. So the challenge with us young people, we just want to be given. So she was talking about volunteering, but us, we don't want to volunteer, we want to be given. We feel that, if you are invited to a function, say, okay, what am I going to benefit? It's not all about benefiting. The moment you never know, this will be, or maybe your breakthrough will be, from this session. And also integrity, if you're talking about integrity, we are saying, what are you going to do after this? If I'm to welcome you into my life, right? Are you going to also sow my image? Because people are so, especially those people who are successful, they're so particular and they're so afraid, to sow their image with us young people. Because most of the young people are not focused. That's why you find that even we cry about inclusion in the political offices, to sit in boards for parastatals. But we are not being given that opportunity. Why? Because we don't have integrity. Today you are given this opportunity, you are now showing off, you are now doing, doing a lot of things, to these young ladies. Many things will happen because of that opportunity. So you need to show integrity. The moment you display those elements of integrity, you'll be trusted with more. And it will be easy for that person, if he knows maybe Dr. Chiango, say, you know what, Rinos, I want to introduce you to this next person. And that next person will introduce me to the next person. Because they know I'm a person of integrity, I'm a man of principles. But if you're not a man of principles, you'll be afraid to show his image as well. So I think that's all, and my apologies, I'm not going to talk about much, because they shared of some of the key nuggets, which I believe they will help you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're in trouble. People are going to be asking about your birthdays. All right, thank you so much, Mr. Rinos Mautsa. That was very deep, and those are the practical things of how to maintain a relationship. If you follow this, you can even maintain a good relationship with your parents. Follow these simple things. Very, very important. All right, any questions concerning the subject? All right, sir. Let's get to him.
Thank you, sir. My name is Abhishek Asiamuru, and my question is, in relationship building, where do we ethics? You mentioned, for instance, where do we draw the line between relationship building and bribery or corruption? You mentioned how somebody introduced you to a bank manager and how you got a deal without going through the normal process. So, where then do we draw the line between relationship building and bribery? Thank you.
Yeah, you can answer.
Thank you so much. I think that's a nice question. But remember, I was emphasizing on integrity. Because I was saying you're a person of reputable standing, and your track record, they know that already. That's what you've been doing, and you are good at it. But for us, it was our first business. But they knew we have the systems to deliver and the capacity to deliver. So because of that, their internal processes, they allowed them to maybe to give a job up to a certain value without going to a tender. So because they knew that we can deliver, and because of that integrity I was talking about, and the processes that we have and system that we have from our end, that we are good for that. So it's not bribery. Bribery is now when you are, it's a once-off, it's a transactional relationship. It's a once-off thing. But for us, there were no funds which exchanged, and it's something which is long-term. Because remember, the person who referred, us to them, it was, we had built that relationship over a period of time. So it wasn't a once-off thing.
Any other question? Yes, sir, at the back.
Thank you. My name is Nigel, and my question is, you talked of relationships. Let's say, okay, there are people of various levels of influence, and probably at the particular point where I am and where that person is, there could be a very big gap. So what are there any determining factors you could recommend in me analyzing whether this could be a good relationship for me with that particular person, if I need to maintain that relationship, if I need to follow up on that relationship with that particular person? Are there things you can recommend me to follow through, to say, okay, you can do A, B, C, D, being that also the other side of it is because I may not know today whether that relationship will be valuable for me, so that I can say, okay, I can't follow up on this person, or I need to follow up on that person, because maybe where I am today is not where I will be tomorrow. So are there any recommendations in determining whether a relationship is good for me with that particular kind of person, or in seeking mentorship, that you could recommend? Thank you.
Okay, I'll also give an opportunity to my colleagues who are here, since they have also spoken about that. But from my end, I just think the first, port of call is to say, what do you want to engage that person? Why do you want to engage that person? Because you have to say, okay, for you, what's the need that you have, from your end? And then you match your needs with the person whom you think maybe they are good at that, or they have the solutions, to your needs. Then maybe from my end, that's a starting point. But I think I will also give the platform to my colleagues so that they can also weigh in. If there's anyone.
I would also add to say that when you're networking, at times, if you don't know about that person, or you don't know what that person can offer, because many times we get stuck when we meet, some of these people. You might say to them, how do I maintain a relationship with you? Just be honest. What questions should I ask if I meet someone like you? And you're talking about integrity. Maybe you want to find out their profile before you meet someone, or after you've met someone. Go on Google them. Find out what they have done, so that the conversation is of meaning. Don't bore them with boring questions. Be appropriate, and at least find out what they are doing, what they are working on. It shows that you have done your research. After, like right now, you now have been introduced to maybe Mr. Keith Maroyo, and you have to research on him, so that when you're engaging him, at least maybe the current projects that he's working on, are they aligning to what you're currently doing?
Thank you. I think just to add on to what she said, to me it goes back to, let's say for example, you're going for an interview, IPC. You don't go for an interview without doing research for the company, because you need to know where they are, where they need to go, and the challenges they're facing. Correct? So the same also for an individual. But number two, read on information or books on integrity and nurturing relationships. There's nothing new under the sun, ladies and gentlemen. I know we are here, we're talking about relationships, we talk about innovation. I'll give you a classic one. You know about, the Facebook era. But Facebook is nothing new. Before we used to have pen pals. But it was just now pen pals which were now put on a digital system. So what you need to realize is that you can't reinvent the wheel. There are other people who've nurtured and grown relationships, and they've written books about it. So you can't always now go and ask someone, how do I do it or how do I go about it? Yes, to a certain degree, yes. But imagine if you've got a pitch for 20 seconds and you need to create an impact and also build a relationship there. How do you do it? There's no one to ask, right? So you also need to have background information and to read about it. The last point I would say, I'll give an example. I think there's a guy I was speaking to, and I gave an example, and I said, I'm a medical doctor. Just got out of practice as an example. And I want to be the best in the industry. I need to look for people who are currently the best and find out how they've done it. Like Rinos was saying, ask them to go for lunch. But in your lunch, don't ask for money. Tell them, give me the key secrets to where you are. What do I do to improve myself? That's all. And with that, someone will definitely be willing to pour out to you.
All right. Do we have another question? That will be our last question. You asked a question before. Let's get to somebody who hasn't. You have asked the question.
It's actually not a question. I wanted to add on an answer. I mentioned before how uncomfortable I was with this sense I get of networking as a very selfish, self-centered way to exploit relationships for your own benefit. And I do think if you meet someone who's passionate about something, not only do you see that they care about it, you get interested in it. People who don't like cars watch Top Gear because those three old men are passionate about cars and they make you care. If you sat down with Bill Gates and you were talking about something you really cared about, you wouldn't be thinking, oh my God, it's Bill Gates. You'd be thinking, I love cars. I've got this great car design. And you'd speak with a passion where someone from wherever they come from can understand this is what you're trying to do. This is what it means to you. And they can actually share some of that excitement, which seems to me as a much more important thing than any kind of calculation of what you're going to get from them. When they share your passion for what you're doing, they will come in and say, look, I like what you want to do. This is where I can help. This is where I can contribute.
All right. Thank you. Let's go to our final presentation, but let's clap hands for Mr. Rinos Mautsa once again.